The water around me exploded in a burst of white foam and raw power. I had 3 seconds, maybe 4, before 20 feet of pure muscle and teeth closed the gap between us. My regulator slipped from my mouth. Salt water burned my throat. This was it. This was how I die. But here's what nobody tells you about coming face to face with a great white shark. In that moment, when death is close enough to touch, you don't see a monster. You see something else entirely. Something that will haunt me forever. My name is Marcus Chen, and I've spent the last 8 years studying great white sharks. I've tagged them, tracked them, swam alongside them. I thought I understood them. I was wrong. Dead wrong. And that mistake almost cost me everything. Before we go any further, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button right now. Because what I'm about to tell you will change everything you think you know about the ocean's most feared predator. And trust me, you're going to want to see where this goes. It started 3 months ago off the coast of South Africa at a place called Seal Island. My research team and I were documenting hunting behavior. Standard procedure. We'd done it 100 times before. The morning sun was cutting through the water in golden shafts, and the Cape Fur seals were beginning their daily commute from the island to their feeding grounds. This is when the sharks hunt. This is when the ocean becomes an arena. I was in the cage, a reinforced steel structure that's supposed to keep you safe. Supposed to. The word supposed does a lot of heavy lifting in marine biology. My colleague Sarah was on the boat above, monitoring our equipment. My underwater camera was rolling. Everything was routine. Everything was safe. Then I saw her. She came from below, a shadow materializing from the depths like a submarine rising from the abyss. 15 feet long, maybe more. Her body was torpedo perfect, millions of years of evolution compressed into pure hydrodynamic efficiency. I'd seen sharks before, dozens of them, but this one was different. She moved with purpose, with intelligence. She wasn't hunting seals. She was hunting me. The first impact hit the cage like a car crash. The entire structure shook. My camera slipped from my hands, tumbling into the darkness below. I grabbed the bars, my heart jackhammering against my ribs. Through the murky water, I could see her circling back. Her black eye, a motionless alien, locked onto mine. Scientists will tell you that sharks don't target humans intentionally. Scientists will tell you that attacks are cases of mistaken identity. In that moment, I knew better. She hit the cage again, harder this time. One of the welds cracked. I heard it, a sharp metallic snap that echoed through the water. Salt water and adrenaline have a taste, metallic and sharp. I could feel it coating my tongue. Sarah's voice crackled through my dive communication system, distorted and panicked. Marcus, Marcus, we're pulling you up. Hold on. But the shark had other plans. She rammed the cage a third time, and the door, the supposedly secure, tested, certified door, bent inward, 6 inches, then a foot. Her snout pushed through the gap. I could see inside her mouth. Rows upon rows of serrated teeth, each one designed for a single purpose, to tear flesh from bone. Her jaw opened wider, wider than should be possible. The smell hit me through my regulator, a mixture of blood and brine and something primal that triggered every ancient instinct screaming in my DNA. I pushed myself back against the far side of the cage. There was nowhere to go. The boat was 50 feet above me. The ocean floor was 200 feet below. And between me and survival was a predator that had ruled these waters since before my ancestors walked upright. Here's what nobody tells you about fear. It's not the adrenaline or the racing heart, it's the clarity. In that moment, I understood something fundamental about the ocean, about nature, about the thin veneer of safety we wrap around ourselves. We are not the apex predator. We never were. The shark's eye met mine again, and something passed between us. Recognition, understanding, I don't know, but she stopped. Her jaw closed. She pulled back from the cage, her movements suddenly cautious, almost curious. She circled once more, her body inches from the damaged bars. Then she descended, disappearing into the blue void below as suddenly as she'd appeared. They pulled me up. Sarah helped me onto the deck. I was shaking so hard I couldn't stand. My wetsuit was torn in 3 places. I didn't even remember that happening. Sarah kept asking if I was okay, if I was hurt, if I needed medical attention. I couldn't answer. I couldn't speak. Because all I could think about was that moment, that split second when the shark looked at me and chose not to kill. Why? That question consumed me. It kept me awake at night. It pulled me back to the ocean day after day, desperate for answers. My colleagues thought I was crazy. My wife Sarah, yes, the same Sarah from the boat, we'd gotten married the year before, she thought I was obsessed. She was right. I was. Because in that cage, staring death in the face, I'd seen something in that shark's eye that fundamentally challenged everything I thought I knew. I started digging into research. Not just marine biology papers and tracking data, but historical accounts, indigenous stories, ancient texts. The Aboriginal Australians have legends about great white sharks. They call them the guardians. Pacific Islander cultures speak of shark gods who protect rather than destroy. Even modern accounts, when you strip away the media sensationalism, reveal a pattern. Most great white encounters don't end in attacks. Most end exactly like mine did, with the shark choosing to leave. If you're finding this valuable, drop a comment below and tell me. Have you ever had an encounter with a predator that changed your perspective? I read every single comment and I want to hear your stories. They matter more than you think. 3 weeks after my cage incident, I was back in the water. Different location this time, the coast of Guadalupe Island, Mexico. No cage, just me, my camera, and open ocean. Sarah thought I'd lost my mind. Maybe I had, but I needed to understand. I needed to know if what I'd experienced was an anomaly or something deeper. The sharks came. Not one but three, 2 females and a male, all between 12 and 16 feet long. They approached cautiously, their movements deliberate. I stayed still, my breathing slow and controlled. Every instinct screamed at me to panic, to swim for the boat, to flee. But I didn't. I waited. The largest female, I later named her Luna, came within 5 feet of me, close enough that I could see the scars on her snout, the remora fish clinging to her flanks, the subtle movements of her gills. She opened her mouth slightly and I could see her teeth, but there was no aggression, no predatory intent. She was investigating, learning, deciding. I extended my hand slowly. Scientists will tell you this is insane. They're right, it is. But Luna didn't attack, she didn't even flinch. She swam past me, her dorsal fin brushing my fingertips. Her skin was rough, covered in tiny tooth-like scales called dermal denticles. The texture was like sandpaper, but warmer than I expected, more alive. For 45 minutes I swam with those sharks. They circled, they observed. They came close, then retreated, then approached again. It was like a dance, an intricate negotiation between species. And in that time my entire worldview shifted. These weren't mindless killing machines. They were intelligent, curious, cautious creatures trying to understand their environment, just like me. But here's where the story takes a turn. Here's where everything I thought I understood fell apart. 2 months after my Guadalupe encounter, I received a call from a colleague in Australia. A great white shark tagged and tracked by our research network had been found dead, washed up on a beach near Adelaide. Cause of death, starvation. But that wasn't the shocking part. When they performed the necropsy, they found plastic, pounds of it, fishing nets tangled in her digestive system, microplastics embedded in her tissues. This shark, an apex predator, a perfect evolutionary machine, had died slowly, painfully, poisoned by human waste. Her tag number was NS47. I pulled up our database. NS47 was Luna, the same shark I'd swam with in Guadalupe, the same shark who'd chosen curiosity over aggression, the same shark who'd changed my entire understanding of these animals. She was dead, we killed her. I want you to pause the video right now and hit that like button. Not for me, not for the algorithm, but because Luna deserves to be remembered. Because every great white shark swimming in our oceans right now is fighting for survival against threats they can't see, can't understand, can't escape. And the only way we change that is by spreading awareness. So hit like. Share this video. Let's make sure Luna's death meant something. The truth is, great white sharks don't kill many humans. In 2023, there were exactly 5 fatal great white attacks worldwide. 5. Want to know how many great white sharks humans killed in that same year? Conservative estimates put it at over 100,000. Most die as bycatch in commercial fishing operations. Others are killed for their fins, their jaws, their teeth, trophies for collectors who want to own a piece of the ocean's most feared predator. But here's the part that really gutted me. Great white sharks are slow to reproduce. Females don't reach sexual maturity until they're at least 15 years old, sometimes older. They give birth to live pups, usually between 2 and 10 at a time, after a gestation period of over a year. And those pups, they're on their own from the moment they're born. No parental care, no protection, just raw survival instinct and the hope that they'll live long enough to continue the species. We're killing them faster than they can reproduce. Much faster. The International Union for Conservation of Nature lists great white sharks as vulnerable, one step away from endangered. Some regional populations have declined by over 70% in the last 50 years. In the Mediterranean, they're functionally extinct. Off the coast of South Africa, where I had my cage encounter, orcas have learned to hunt great whites specifically for their livers. The sharks are fleeing, abandoning hunting grounds their species has used for millennia. The ocean is changing, and the great white shark, the animal that survived 5 mass extinctions, that's remained virtually unchanged for 400 million years, might not survive us. After Luna died, I spent weeks in a dark place. Depression, guilt, anger, all of it crashed over me in waves. Sarah found me one night sitting on our deck, staring at the ocean, tears streaming down my face. "What are we doing?" I asked her. "What the hell are we doing to this planet?" She didn't have an answer. Nobody does. But she said something that stuck with me. "You can't save them all, Marcus, but you can tell their story. You can make people care." So that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm here, telling you about Luna, about my cage encounter, about the truth that marine biologists have known for decades, but the media keeps ignoring. Great white sharks aren't the monsters we've made them out to be. We are. Let me tell you what great white sharks actually do. They're ecosystem engineers. They regulate prey populations, removing sick and weak animals, which prevents disease spread and maintains genetic health in species like seals and sea lions. When apex predators disappear from an ecosystem, everything collapses. It's called a trophic cascade, and we've seen it happen repeatedly. Remove the wolves from Yellowstone and the elk population explodes, overgrazing vegetation, causing erosion, destroying habitat for dozens of other species. Remove sharks from the ocean, and you get the same catastrophic chain reaction. In areas where shark populations have collapsed, we've seen explosions in mid-level predators like rays and smaller sharks. Those animals then decimate shellfish populations. Shellfish are natural water filters. They clean the ocean, remove toxins, prevent algae blooms. Without them, water quality degrades, coral reefs suffocate, fish stocks collapse. And then commercial fishing industries fail. Coastal communities lose their livelihoods, and millions of people who depend on the ocean for food and income suffer. This isn't hypothetical. This is happening right now. Off the coast of North Carolina, shark populations have declined so dramatically that cownose ray populations exploded. Those rays destroyed the bay scallop industry, an industry worth millions of dollars, gone in less than a decade. All because we removed the predator at the top of the food chain. But here's the harsh truth, the one that keeps me awake at night, the one I need you to understand. We know all of this. Scientists have been sounding the alarm for years, decades. We have the data, we have the research, we have the solutions, and we're doing nothing, or worse than nothing, we're actively making it worse. Commercial fishing fleets still use practices that kill thousands of sharks as bycatch every single day. Shark finning, the practice of cutting off a shark's fins and throwing the still living animal back into the ocean to drown, is still legal in many countries. Plastic pollution continues to pour into our oceans at a rate of over 8 million tons per year. Climate change is warming ocean temperatures, disrupting migration patterns, destroying nursery habitats. And the public, most people still think sharks are monsters. They watch Jaws, they see sensationalized news reports about attacks, and they think these animals are evil. They're not evil. They're just trying to survive in an ocean we've turned into a toxic wasteland. I went back to Seal Island 3 weeks ago, same location where my cage was attacked. I wanted to see if the sharks were still there, still hunting, still thriving. The seal colony was smaller than I remembered. The water was cloudier, and in 6 hours of observation I saw exactly 2 sharks. Two. In a location that used to have dozens. I sat in that boat with Sarah, watching the sun set over the Atlantic, and I felt something break inside me. Not despair exactly, more like a final shedding of illusions. We're losing them, not in some distant future, not in our children's lifetimes. Now, right now, today. If you've made it this far in the video, I need you to do something for me. I need you to comment below with one word, Luna. That's it, just her name. Because I want Anthropic, I want YouTube, I want the world to see how many people actually care about these animals. I want a tsunami of comments, a flood of awareness. Can you do that for me? For Luna, comment Luna right now. Here's what happens next. Here's where you come in. Because this story doesn't end with me. It doesn't end with Luna. It ends with a choice, your choice. You can support marine conservation organizations. Groups like Oceana, Sea Shepherd, the Shark Research Institute, they're doing real work, fighting real battles against commercial fishing interests and government inaction. Your donations, no matter how small, fund research, support policy changes, protect critical habitats. You can reduce your plastic consumption. Every piece of plastic you don't use is one less piece that ends up in the ocean, in a shark's stomach, in a turtle's digestive system. Reusable bags, metal straws, glass containers, these aren't hippie trends. They're survival strategies. You can educate others. Share this video. Talk to your friends, your family, your community about what's really happening in our oceans. Challenge the narrative that sharks are monsters. Tell them about Luna. Tell them about the shark who chose not to kill me. Tell them that these animals deserve better than what we've given them. And you can advocate for policy change. Contact your representatives. Demand stricter regulations on commercial fishing. Push for stronger protections for vulnerable species. Vote for leaders who take ocean conservation seriously. Democracy doesn't work if we stay silent. I know this sounds overwhelming. I know it feels like the problem is too big, like one person can't make a difference. But here's what I learned from Luna: every choice matters. Every action has consequences. That shark could have killed me. She had every reason to see me as a threat, as prey, as an enemy. But she chose differently. She chose curiosity over aggression. She chose to see me as something other than food. We can make that same choice. We can choose to see sharks, all wildlife, really, as something other than resources to exploit or threats to eliminate. We can choose empathy over fear. We can choose to protect rather than destroy. 3 days ago, I was contacted by a research team in New Zealand. They've been tracking a pregnant great white shark named Hope. She's 20 years old, over 16 feet long, and she's carrying 7 pups. In about 6 months, she'll give birth somewhere off the coast of Stewart Island. Those pups will face incredible odds. Most won't survive their first year, but some will. And if we do our job, if we clean up the oceans, if we reduce fishing pressure, if we give these animals the space and resources they need, those pups will grow up. They'll hunt. They'll migrate. They'll continue a lineage that stretches back 400 million years. That's Hope's gift to us. Not just her name, but what she represents. The possibility that we can fix this. That we haven't passed the point of no return. That there's still time to make things right. But only if we act. Only if we choose. Only if we decide that these animals matter more than our convenience, more than our profits, more than our fear. I think about Luna every single day. I think about that moment in Guadeloupe when she swam past me, when her fin brushed my hand, when I felt the warmth of her body and understood, finally, that we're not so different. She was curious. She was intelligent. She was trying to navigate a world that's become increasingly dangerous and unpredictable, just like us. She deserved better. They all deserve better. Before you go, I need you to do three things. First, subscribe to this channel. I'm dedicating my career to telling these stories, to showing you the ocean as it really is, not the sanitized, tourist-friendly version, but the raw, beautiful, desperate truth. Second, share this video everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever. Send it to people who think sharks are monsters. Send it to people who don't think about the ocean at all. Make them watch it. Make them care. And third, take action. Pick one thing from the list I gave you and do it today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. The ocean doesn't need us. It existed long before humans and it'll exist long after we're gone. But we need the ocean. We need the oxygen it produces, the food it provides, the climate regulation it offers. And the ocean needs sharks. It needs apex predators to maintain balance, to keep ecosystems healthy, to prevent collapse. We're all connected. That's not environmental mysticism. That's basic ecology. What happens to Luna happens to Hope, happens to the fish we eat, happens to the air we breathe, happens to us. We're not separate from nature. We're part of it. And when we destroy it, we destroy ourselves. I'm going back to South Africa next month. I'm going back to that cage, to that water where I nearly died and where I learned the most important lesson of my life. I'm going back because I need to see if the sharks are still there. I need to know if there's still hope. And whatever I find, I'll share it with you. Because you deserve to know the truth. Because Luna deserves to be remembered. Because the ocean deserves defenders. This is Marcus Chen signing off. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, smash that like, and comment Luna below. And remember, every great white shark swimming out there right now is fighting for survival. The question is, are we going to help them, or are we going to stand by and watch them disappear? The choice is yours. Choose wisely, choose courageously, choose life. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And please, please make this matter.